Hey, what's good, barbecue family? It's your boy Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q. And today we got a real backyard challenge. Walmart Select Brisket versus WinCo's Choice Brisket. Does it really make that big a difference? We're going to queue them both up in an overnight cook on my GMG. Same rub, same everything, and we're going to see how it come out. Come on. Okay, we back in this old supermarket section, and this is for not for the faint heart, but we are in Walmart, baby. And what we're going to be finding out today is we looking for a brisket, and I wasn't sure if they even had select briskets, and that's an expensive select brisket at $4.46 a pound. However, for today's experiment, we're going to see how this select brisket holds up, and I think this one here might not be too bad. I see a little bit of striation. A little thin at the bottom, but I don't got a whole lot of choices. The other one looks a little extra fatty and kind of flat. I like the bigger point on here, so I think this might have to be the one. And then part two, in my other grocery store, I like that they always try to price match some of the local grocery stores in the area. This is my spot, WinCo. And I'm looking over here at they briskets, which again is roughly the same price, $4.46. That's basically about the same size that I pretty much had. I don't know if I necessarily need that much brisket, even though it is going to be a little bit of a party. So I might go with this little bit smaller edition down here at 13. It's about 14 pounds. It's got a decent thickness. Not a ton of striation, but a little bit. All right. You definitely see a little bit more over here. And these are usually choice. I think I might have said that. Over here on, they got just some of the points over here in the bag. But if you notice, $5.78 a pound. So we don't want nothing to do with that. I'll probably be going with this one right here. Here is your side-by-side comparison. This is the Choice beef brisket, and I did look it up. WinCo doesn't sell anything less than Choice, so it's always Choice or above. Normally, I'm always seeing a Choice symbol or a Choice writing on there or something by it. I don't see it today, but I'm pretty positive from years of shopping there. This is a Choice brisket. Not the best Choice brisket, but I mean, it feels good. So I'm not worried about it. We know what to do with this thing to turn it into magic. But this is my Choice brisket. We usually look for a lot of marbling, hopefully. We'll see what it looks like when we start trimming and we get some of those initial cuts on the side. They usually do a decent job of starting your trim off. If you can't tell, they've already kind of rounded off these edges. So one thing that is nice, even though I don't buy brisket here a lot of times I'll go to Costco, but I wanted to compare the select brisket from Walmart to something that's similar, another supermarket brisket. But one thing I do like about there is they do kind of do some of that trim, and even though I don't normally buy the brisket here, you should be able to save some of your money. You know, you don't really got to do a whole lot. You could probably almost throw this thing on the way it is. They didn't really take out this deco, but if you can notice, it's already kind of flat, looks a little bit more aerodynamic. Definitely they've done a little bit of work to it. Here's the one from Walmart, obviously a little bit bigger. I didn't need too much because they had one that was roughly, that one's 17.4. This one is just about 14 pounds. They had one that was also 17, but I don't necessarily need that much brisket. However, it is a party. Your boy's birthday. You'll probably catch this video late, but if nothing else, if you want to do something for me, make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment and say what's up. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you subscribe so you can check out all the weekly videos. This one does have a little bit of striation I can see over here in the point area, as well as even in the flat. So that just kind of goes to show you select and choice. Sometimes they're not always Just as simple as grabbing a choice, grabbing a select. You got to look around. You can actually find probably some decent selects, which this one doesn't look too bad for what it's worth. And then sometimes I've gotten choice ones that look just as good as primes or better than some of the primes that I've had without all the money. But in this case, both of them are sitting at about the same price, $446. So these are your last looks before I get them out the package. We're going to get a little bit of trim game going on. I'll definitely be bringing quite a bit off of this one to bring it down to closer to this size, and then hopefully we get something that should cook similar. Out the package, contestant number 1 is the Choice Brisket. This one here is from WinCo. I'm not going to do too much other than I'll finish maybe rounding this off just a little bit, just because I like it a little more aerodynamic. I got a decent enough size over here. I'll get rid of this deco fat over here, this nice hard fat, which you can pretty much almost start to piece out. They did get rid of a lot of good stuff. And I don't want to really trim it too tight like I might normally, only because I know I'm going to have a reheat and everything. So I don't want to dry this thing out. So they already got my overall fat cap pretty broke down. So I probably won't have to mess with it too much. I can tell like the mohawk look like it's already gone. It's pretty thin on some of these spots. So we'll check up here a little bit. But we'll leave most of this alone. All right, here we go. Got them trimmed up. Not too bad. Didn't want to dig into it too much. One thing is instantly when I hit this side corner and cut some of that off, I was like, uh-oh. Now that's not good to see. No striations whatsoever. Right? This is pretty much solid pieces of meat. Look pretty lean, right? So even though this is supposed to be my choice, it doesn't look like it's that great of a grade. But we'll make sure that we save some tallow. We'll give it some love. This one's going to get wrapped up for sure. So, you know, make sure we don't dry it out. And we're going to see what we can do if we can turn this not so good choice into something that somebody might pick. Let's get to this next one. And contestant number 2, we got this big boy Walmart brisket. This thing is heavy, I tell you that. And definitely there's a lot more trim on there. Already you can see some of that thin flap and skin that they got on there. So there's definitely trim to be done on this one, especially on the back side. A little bit more of that silver skin. Deco is still intact. We're going to keep with the same program, round it off a little bit, try to leave it pretty thick, and we'll get this thing ready. And here is a peek of the old Walmart big boy. Brought it down a notch or two, smoothed it out a little bit, rounded it off. Took off I don't want to say quite a bit, a decent amount. This is how much meat I took off in between both of those briskets. And this is just meat. Obviously, I left some fat on there because when I grind this down as burgers, I'm going to need some of that meat. So, I mean, this is a decent amount. I mean, you know what? Let me grab my scale. There we go. Turn this on real quick. Put this on. Take that off. I'm going to throw this meat on here. It's in ounces. I want it in pounds. All right, so about 2.1 pounds of meat, a little bit of fat. I also got a nice little tray over here of some tallow. That's just fat. That didn't look like too nasty or nothing like that, but I'll be breaking that down. Give me some tallow to give back to this baby. And then we got the product over here. Number 1, or actually this is number 2, and then number 1 over here chilling out. Today, as far as our rub, I'm be going with my traditional, something that I know I can always get off. Texas brisket rub. I'll give it to you. 3 parts black pepper, 1 part salt, half a part of paprika, and a half a part of garlic powder. This is what I like, granulated garlic, if you care to know. Solid rub for brisket. We'll be coming over the top heavy with that. Should give us a pretty good bark. Not too salty, but don't get carried away. Okay, we're going to start on the back side on these. I'm not using any binders or anything like that. I'm just going to give it a heavy, solid dosing all the way around, and then we'll pat it in. All right, that's a decent coat on both sides here, or should I say on one side is the fat side. Also forgot if I don't remember if I told you or not, but definitely one thing I did notice when I was trimming this second one, this big boy over here from Walmart, I saw a little bit of striation. I have to say I think a little bit more than I saw on that little one over there that's supposed to be the choice. So let me flip it over. Same thing on the other side. Time for some action. We're going to let these hang out a little bit. I got to go take care of some business for a quick minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my pellet grill fired up. And we'll get these babies started. We ready to rock. I got my baby dialed in at 250. I'm gonna start it off a little slower, a little lower, and I'll probably end up pumping it up to 275 here later. I feel like I got a lot of meat out here. This is the big one right here, looking nice and aerodynamic. And there's my Choice Select. That's what I'm gonna call that, the Choice Select. It's a choice, but it looked real select. And there go my Select that didn't look like a bad choice, if you know what I'm saying. We got the Green Mountain Grill still holding on, looking clean, ready to rock. I'm gonna get my biggest one point side to the back on this side, and I'll go with the smaller over on this side. My heating elements right there, so I feel like it's usually a little warmer in that area, so that should work. Hey team, I want to jump in here real quick and let you know, thanks for following along on today's cooking. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go to that bottom right corner. Make sure you subscribe, check out any other videos you've missed. And if you haven't done it yet, find me on Facebook, IG, and TikTok. But other than that, let's get back to the work. And ladies and gentlemen, we barely got up in here by the hair of our chinny chin. I mean, gosh, a lot closer than I wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, we all on the rack. I thought initially I would be able to go the long way straight up and down, but these are some big boys. I'm not going to be worried too much, because once we get cooking, these babies will start shrinking up, and you'll see that little bit of gap, which is only pretty much one little link between them now. That's going to stretch out a little bit more over time, but they should be good. We'll definitely be moving them around while they're in here too. I'm going to let these babies hang out, and we're going to start to cook. There is nothing much to see here. I'll be back to check on it. We're going to let this bark get set in nice and decent before we get a spritz on them. So I'll let you come in here and we'll check it out here in the next few hours. I'm about to go get a workout. And since I nowhere near have no room out there to try to get these babies on here, I'm just going to throw these in the oven. And I don't know, I don't want to even put it up that high. I'll just let it go right there on that 325. Let that come up to temp, sit that in there, and let that slowly melt down. We'll pour some of that off and give me some nice clean liquid gold. Just getting back from that workout, feeling a hell of a lot better. It is late, but you had to get it in. Late. But let's check. It's been about 2 hours, 36 minutes. I smell it as soon as I got in the garage. Liquid gold is ready to go. Let me pull this up out of here. I'll let it cool off a little bit, and then we'll pour it off into a mason jar. And I grabbed my sifter, strainer, whatever you want to call it, and picked out all these big pieces. And I'm just going to kind of let this hang out for a little bit and kind of let a little bit of that drip off. If I really wanted to be a hog about it, I could drain off this first level, and I could put this back in here and keep on squeezing away at it until it was really almost nothing left. But that's pretty decent for me. I don't need a whole lot of tallow. I do got some already. I'm just going to kind of add on to what I got. What's the purpose of buying some if you can literally, and you already have bought some? So real easy process. Obviously this won't have any smoke on it, but I'm not too worried about it. We always got a good amount of smoke around here. So I'm gonna let this hang out. We'll let this cool off a little bit so I ain't throwing this hot stuff directly in my garbage. And then we'll strain this off, and then we'll go out there and peek at that brisket. Alright, we got rid of that. A couple little pieces, but I ain't too worried about that. Still got my strainer going right over the old bottle. And you wonder why I call it liquid gold? Check that out right there. Just like that, without spilling a drop. So I'll stack right back over there. We'll discard that. And then there go my bottle. That's all mixing in together with some of that smoked tallow down there. And I'll leave this top off a little bit before I close it all the way up. This is still pretty warm. But there we go. That's done. Oh, some of the things you can't beat about the old pellet grill. Here I am, 2 hours, 50 minutes in, got me a workout in, and it's just quietly out here purring. Middle of the night, I don't want to be too loud. There go them babies, how y'all doing? 50-50 apple cider vinegar and water. We're just going to give it a little bit of spritz. Starting to dry up a little bit, as you can kind of see, so we're going to give it a little bit of moisture. I'm not going to move them just yet, but they will be getting rotated here, and I'll just kind of flip their order. Walmart, big boy. Costco. WinCo Choice. Select. Let's get them wet. There we at. There we go. Pretty dry. And I probably won't be back in here for a while. So I'll give them a good little splash. There it is. We got another, I don't know, maybe I'll rotate them another about an hour and a half or so. Take care of a little business. 4 hours, 5 minutes, still rolling along smooth at 250, burning real slow on the old pellets. I'm gonna pop this baby open. It's about time to give them a nice little spritz, and I'm gonna rotate this one over to this side, and I'm gonna go get me some sleep. And by the time we come back in the morning, this will be about time to get these things wrapped up. It looking good. Smelling good out here. Next time you see them, they'll be rotated. Top of the morning to you, ladies and gents. Here we are. Oh yeah. This is 9 hours and about 20 minutes. As you can see, I got a pretty decent looking color on here. I'm gonna get these babies up out of here and get them wrapped up. One thing I meant to say last night, but I definitely noticed it, was you had instantly saw that shrinkage and how much more room I got in this grill now. Both of these look pretty decent. Obviously, we still got a little bit of cooking left to go. I don't really got to worry too much about spritzing, and we'll get these things wrapped up with a little bit of that tallow. Here's how we're going to do this. I got two very long pieces of heavy-duty aluminum foil that I kind of overlap a little bit. Probably stretch them out a little bit more so they're a little bit wider. And then I wanted to use aluminum foil on purpose. Obviously, I know I'm going to lose a little bit of bark, but that's okay. It'll come back a little bit. But I wanted to, for one, make sure I don't lose too much moisture. We're going to be traveling with these briskets, and they're going to be getting reheated. So I want to keep what I got in there, and I don't want this cook to take too much longer so I can rest these briskets. And then I'm popping them in the freezer. So we got a whole lot of work to do. We're using aluminum foil. Normally, I would use butcher paper. Also, both of those briskets didn't have a ton of marbling in there. So once again, I want to keep a little bit of my moisture. So I'm going to slip to what I know will keep a little bit more of that. I'm going to add a little bit of this tallow down here, and then we'll throw this bed down. Contestant number one, this is the big brisket. We will remember it by that nice big fat pocket sitting off on the side. Decent little bit of crust that we already got on here. I did pin both of these briskets, and roughly in the middle, they both sitting around 180-ish, 185-ish. And then up in the corners where we didn't have the flat, towards the back, which is the warmer part of my grill, they were more in the 155-ish, 60-ish range. So we're going to be rotating them around with a flat side forward now, kind of even up that cooking, but obviously we're getting them wrapped up. Got this thing in this bed of tallow. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to get a little bit of tallow over top, wrap this baby up like a Christmas gift. There we go. Package number one is official. Now we're going to work on brisket number two. Contestant number two. This is the choice brisket. Pretty good overall on color. One thing I did notice, feel like it's a little, definitely more done in a couple of the bottom spots. And for me, that's why I always do fat side down on my pellet grill, because I always find that I can easily get that bottom more done than I want. So that's how I do it like I do it. Let's get some tallow on top, wrap this one on tight. It's going back in there with the point, with the flat towards the back. Okay, both of the kids back in the pool. We staying at 275. We've been rolling along with these Costco pellets, so it's a really good blend for me. Can't beat $13 for a 40-pound bag. Big brisket over here. This is the Walmart brisket select. And then we got the choice one from WinCo over here with the flats to the back. We're going to let these things finish up. Ain't too much to see, so I'll bring you back in a couple hours once it's about pool time. Still rolling along strong at 275. I am about 12 hours in. I can see, oh yeah, I like that. Feel some softness back there, which I know these backs were more done. I'm gonna slightly open this thing up and give it a little test in the point. on both sides. Usually I take my briskets to about a 205 temperature anywhere throughout, more or less. You want to get through it like butter, definitely through the middle, knowing that I'm gonna be doing a little bit more time on the hold, and as well as it's gonna get rewarmed back up and everything. I'm not gonna worry about going as far, but this is gonna get chopped up in the end, so one way or another I'm gonna be good. So I at least need to get a 200. Let me check this out. And we about close. This one here is hidden, which I'm not surprised. That's the warmer area in my grill. This one here is at 198-ish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rotate these. I'll pick this one. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take it off, and then we're gonna get this one up a little bit longer, and then we'll be good to go. As far as my rest game, I'm actually gonna take them out. I'm gonna leave them right there, and I'm just gonna sit them in my oven. 20 minutes later, this thing should be about ready to rock. Rotated it back. It only needed a few more degrees. I'm going in that same hole. Yep. That'll work. Let's get him off of here. Number 2 is in there. We're going to let him hang out just like you see it. We were like, what, 12 hours and like 20 minutes. So pretty good on these size briskets. At the end of the day, you cannot beat the convenience of the pellet grill, taking us through the night and right into the promised land. I'm going to let them hang for a couple hours in this oven. And then I'll let them sit out on the counter for a little bit just to make sure they cool all the way down before they got to hit the freezer. All right, these have gotten another couple hours to hang out. They are a little warm, but they're definitely down in temp. So it's time for me to hurry up because I'm running out on time. Get these things packaged up, and you're probably wondering how I'm going to do this and get this thing frozen real quick, and then we're going to slip through the old airport. So, luckily, these babies fit perfectly. This is my big one, so I was able to get it in, so I know I'll get the small one in. I got these 2.5 pound jumbo hefty Ziploc bags. I'm gonna pour the rest of this juice in here because I want all of that, and then basically I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up just like you see it and zip it up tight, and these babies is going in the freezer to go ahead and get froze. And I tell you, number 2 definitely slid in here easier. This was the Choice brisket, the smaller of the two. Now, obviously it is smaller, but you would think Choice should have a little bit more fat. They both got roughly about the same amount of tallow put on there, but unless this is just holding so much better, definitely a lot less juice in this one. We're gonna find out. Last look before we freeze them down. Big boy right there. Side by side, they almost look like they're about the same thing, but this one's definitely heavier, thicker. This one's a lot more smaller on this side, but let me get these babies in the freezer. I'm gonna catch y'all in a little bit. We got a flame to catch. All right, the moment of truth. Not bad. That'll be good enough for a straight delivery. I'm talking about a direct fit, both of them briskets. And a nice pack of these red rose sausages. What you know about that? Mississippi style right here in my insulated Cowboys cooler. Perfect for the carry-on. Made it to the airport, smooth through security. You know what we got on deck. We have made it to Toledo. This is contestant number 1. This is our smaller of the 2 briskets, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be able to tell in just 1 second. We've kind of got this thing already warmed up. We're gonna bring it out the package, and we're gonna go ahead and get it chopping. And there it is out the package. Didn't want to get it too warm because I don't want to dry it out. And actually, by looking at this little fat cap right there, this actually lets me know this was the bigger of the 2 briskets. So obviously a lot of shrinkage has happened, but this baby's ready to go, and I can smell it, and the juices is all right. One cut pretty much towards the point side. I haven't looked. Moment of truth. Oh yeah. You can see it's not all the way warmed up. As you can still see my inside is still a little cold over here, but beautiful looking smoke ring. Nice and juicy. It should be perfect to go ahead and chop up. Then I can sit it out for servings for everybody else. Pretty much chopped up. I end up doing a little bit of slicing since we got quite a bit of it. We'll slice some, we'll chop the rest. Good bark, great smoke ring. Super tender. Like I said, this is still cold, but literally just pulling apart. Definitely nice and rendered. See all that good red smoke in there. We got some good eating on the way. This is number 1. Alright, there it is at the end. Took my last little bit of juices and added that back to the top. A lot of times I might add a little bit of water in there just to kind of create some steam, but I wasn't too worried since I still had my original aluminum foil. To be honest, this is tasting pretty good. I've tasted a little bit as I was kind of breaking some of it down. Pretty decent. I'm not too mad at it at all. Here go the chopped. I'll tell you what, chopped is the way to go if you want to feed a crowd. This brisket all sliced up wouldn't have been that much, but when you got a nice pile of chopped and then some sliced or something like that, it go a lot longer. And my cake is here for all you cowboy haters. Part 2, let's warm up the second brisket. You can tell this one's a little bit smaller. This is the one that was choice from WinCo. I rinsed this out and everything. This is another new one, and I kind of let some of that little bit of water hanging. So there's a little bit of water in here, not a whole lot. I don't mind giving it a little moisture, but we're gonna leave it wrapped up nice and tight. I'm gonna warm this thing up at 350 for a while, and then we'll break it down, see what this one's like. Alright, out the oven, and we're gonna open this thing up, do the exact same thing. I'm gonna chop my fatty portion. We'll go slices out of the lean. Let's see what we look like in here. Hello, nice and steamy. A little wiggle, I like seeing that. Still got my bark intact. Let's get it off of this moving foil. There's the cut. Same thing, nice smoke ring, still looking nice and juicy. We are right. Here go the slices. It's a hot one right here. I think that end piece might be for me and Dad. Stretch. Everything is broke down now. You already seen these slices. I'm just kind of getting it prepped. Always keep your juice. So it's got a little moisture in there. And here is the chopped fattier side. We got rid of most of the fat, but I tell you what, I didn't think so the whole way. But until actually tasting some of the burn in with my pops, this one might be better, and I was doubting this choice, but we're gonna find out, and we'll see what everybody think once we get it all mixed up and ready. And after enjoying both of those briskets, the head-to-head nod goes to the choice brisket. Had a little bit better bark, had a better overall smoke ring, and overall, the flavor was just a little bit more pronounced. Even though it didn't necessarily look as marvelous as I thought I would have liked, it still came out to be the better of the two options, even though they still cost the same amount. I appreciate you checking out this backyard challenge. Shouts out to my family, my boys at Black Smoke Barbecue, and you in TV land. I'll catch y'all in about a week. Peace.